Hi friends and fellow intuitive academics, my name is Shelly and I'm an educator healer, and what that means is I draw from my intuition and my lived experience as a PhD to offer you guidance on your academic journey, which often requires healing from institutional wounds that these institutions of knowledge can often inflict on us in many different ways. And so within that theme, I felt called to do a reading on your academic journey and your shadow, how that kind of interplays with each other, and maybe like some advice on how to heal that, how to work with that moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead and start drawing cards. And as I'm doing this, I'm seeing that our candle is struggling to stay lit. Maybe indications that some of us are struggling to hold on to hope. Oh, it just went out right there, right when I said hope. So yeah, some of us are struggling to hold on to hope at this time as we're going through a difficult process of our academic journeys. Let me quickly replace your candle with a nice pink one to invoke self-love. Okay, so I've got you a nice pink candle and I've moved it to this side. It was looking kind of dark here, so to light up this side of your reading. And then I brought out my our chakra crystals here to kind of bring in, activate all the energies of your chakras too, as we're talking about your shadow and your studies, which I guess in the same breath would mean talking about your healing and your studies as well. So let me start drawing. Got already one here. Oops, that one flipped right off, went right to its place. And actually I see this one too. So for the first pile, we have the Fool card in reverse. The next we have the Moon. And for the last, we have the Devil. Well, very appropriate cards for a shadow reading. So you can pause the video and reflect on these as long as you need, and then jump ahead to the chapters where your readings will be located. I'll see you there. Hi, the Fool in Reverse group. So this is your shadow and your studies reading, and so here's your card so you can see it. I'll do it in upright actually. I think it's easier to see upright first. I was meditating on your card and kind of taking in the energies of what messages you might need to hear right now regarding your shadow and your studies. And first of all, it seems that your shadow has something to do with not feeling like you're not seen. Because if you can see, the figure here is somewhat translucent, especially towards the bottom. Their dress is translucent, but their flesh is not. So there's something about like the real you inside is not being seen on the outside. Yeah, so there's something about you feeling unseen or not feeling seen for who you really are. And I never say this word, but the word sojourning is coming to mind. I might need to look up what that means exactly, but it feels like a different flavor of seeking. Like you're seeking your place, you're seeking yourself. I was saying before, it's almost as if you're not being seen by your own self as well. And there's a lot of like, usually the Fool card is kind of The energy is like kind of happy-go-lucky, brazenly moving forward in their journey. This full depiction is a little bit contemplative, almost kind of like sad feeling. Yeah, and then you definitely have the zero, which is a lot of like that non-existence, like the liminal space between existence. And it really matches your stone as well, with the zero kind of being reflected here. So as I was starting your reading, I felt that it was important to grab one of these oracle cards and put it on the other side of your display here. And I get a sense that there's several. This might give us hints as to your healing path. It might help kind of illuminate, I guess, the path forward with your shadows as well. So you're getting here, child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. Wow, such similar appearance to the Fool card, right? The Fool, a child of the cosmos. There's something very similar here. Yeah. I have to think on that though. And then you also get all paths lead home. Wow. Something with the child and home, and you like trying to find your home. It says here, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. Also kind of like the gaze happening here with the Fool card. Looking inward, figuring out who you are and where you belong. And then last, inner earth. You'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings. So I'm actually going to like take a look at the description book and then come back and just give you kind of like the highlights of how this shapes your message. So the descriptions were so interesting. All three cards pointed to inner, like your inner energy, your inner knowing, inner earth, inner guidance, inner authority, intuition. This is a strong theme coming through that probably your shadow is disconnecting you from your inner sense of knowing, your inner being. Something like that has separated you. Disconnection seems to be the theme of your shadow in your studies, particularly. With the child of the cosmos, this was calling you to remember that you, like your DNA has a blueprint within it, your cells, your being, and so you do come with instructions, and you're being called to connect back to that guidance within you, and remember that you're a child of the universe, not separate from it. And with this one, all paths lead home, there was a similar theme about feeling like you're not home, feeling disconnected in some way from those around you. And then with inner earth, there was messages about being surprised by solutions that you don't even see yet. So I get the message from these cards already, and the Fool card, as you are possibly trying to set out on this inner journey of transformation, that this is all about cultivating your sense of self and unlocking some surprising truths and knowledge about yourself and solutions for your path forward when you unlock that. But I do get the sense that you're all in the middle of like the hardships of the journey right now, especially the beginning of the journey can be the hardest, not knowing which way to go. So let's pull some tarot cards now to see what else we can know about your studies and your shadow. How do they kind of line up together? What is that bringing out? as you go through your academic journey as a student, and then how can you best support yourself knowing this now. So we get the Three of Pentacles. Yes, working with others is coming up again. The Two of Pentacles, balancing the chaos. Maybe working under pressure. Three of Swords in reverse. Some deep wounds, some heartbreak, some past pain that's lingering over you. The Death card. Transitions. The Empress in reverse. The Queen of Cups in reverse. The first thing I can see, starting with the bottom, is that there's some wounding that happened with some authorities over you, possibly teachers that were supposed to nurture you and support you and care for you as a student, and this didn't happen. I can see one scenario where kind of like for someone watching, you were like as a child in school, maybe you were like falsely accused of something, and then you didn't have the support of both your teacher and the principal, and it caused a deep wound in you in terms of you know, society not seeing you for your truth. And if they don't see the truth, then like, why does it matter? Yeah, I mean, that would make sense with you feeling unseen. With the Death card, it looks like an inner you. It's like you trying to find you in like within these multiple like people, skeletons within skeletons. Like it's like there's so many layers of searching, like where is it, where is that you? And it's like, it's almost like the skeleton version of you, like the mask is a skeleton that's covering the you inside. Yeah. And this does have to do with, you know, a desire to be able to work with others, but that fear of your truth and who you are and being seen for it and being accepted and acknowledged and appreciated for it, the fear that that won't happen because of your past wounding hovers here. Two of Discs. I feel like you've been trying, and it's a fine balance. And it's like you get close, but something doesn't go quite right. You don't completely feel comfortable in the classroom and school, working with others, but I get the sense that you desperately want that, but it's like this wound keeps coming back and holding you back. The fear of it like keeps holding you back from taking the first step off the cliff. You're stuck there on the cliff. You haven't yet begun this journey when it comes to working with others. Okay, so I was called to pull another deck and start asking the way forward, the solution, how you can tend to yourself and as a student with this particular shadow, going through your studies and support yourself. And I forgot to hit the record button, but these are the cards that came out, and I can easily say the message again that came through. So what happens is, I'll name the cards first. You got the Two of Swords in reverse, the Sun, Nine of Pentacles reversed, Knight of Wands reversed, Queen of Swords reversed, and Seven of Pentacles. And so the first message I saw coming through is that you are the one to choose the way forward with how you address this. That's very key. That's very important, that you're the one kind of accepting and choosing the path. And the advice with that is to choose the path of bliss, choose the path of joy, things that make you feel lighthearted and happy, people, spaces, content, whatever, in school, however those relationships unfold. It could be like, maybe groups that you're passionate about, like student groups. Start there, and that will be the way forward, the great way forward for you. And you're the one to choose where you start with this. And there's something here about having a clear vision about what that ultimate success and happiness looks like for you. So, instead of just going and joining a group club and a student club and thinking like, I just want to be happy with other people, get very clear about what is your checklist, what is your your checklist, your criteria of what happiness looks like for you. So do you want a group that is like supportive? Do you want a group that meets a lot? Do you want a group that goes out and does things off campus? Start getting clear about what your ultimate happiness looks like to you, and then it's like a vision board. It'll be so much more direct for you to walk that path, and also to manifest it if you're going to go with manifesting. Here, these two cards, the Knight of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, I got a couple contradictory messages, so that led me to think that one message will resonate with some people and the other will resonate with other people. So you can just decide which message resonates with you the most. The first message, the first possibility is that I'm forgetting, what was it? The first possibility was that some of you might be rushing in to connect with, let's say this is a teacher that you felt kind of wounded you in the past. And by the way, I'm not sure if you consider that as a wounding. There might be some work there for you to do to kind of bring up the details of that original wound in the school, particularly with teachers, principals, people of authority. Could be coaches too, yeah. But since this is an academic reading, I'm keeping it within the school realm. So there's kind of a tendency to rush in and try to connect with the teachers you have now, to try to undo or heal what happened in the past, to make yourself feel seen by that authority, kind of like a desperation. And it's like it could be, it's any teacher, all teachers, and it's like it's coming from this place of hurt where you're trying to fill the hole of feeling unseen in the past. And so there's something there to bring to your awareness and to heal. If that doesn't resonate with you, the other interpretation was that some of you are holding yourself back from connecting with teachers, people in authority that you would like to connect with, because you're afraid that they will be this the shadow side of the, say, Queen of Swords, which is someone who is like cutting and dismissive, cold, can really kind of like break you down, and especially in terms of like higher education, someone who intimidates you. So you might be missing out on connections because you're associating what happened here in the past with all teachers that you come upon. There's always that fear holding you back from connecting. And so the advice for going ahead with this is to cultivate trust with those people very slowly, piece by piece. Building trust takes time. It takes many meetings, many exchanges, and you gauge the personality of that person, you gauge the intentions of them as you go along, and once they pass your trust meter, then you can really start building that bond. At the same time, with this card, you're building trust in yourself, and the same rules. Trust building takes time, even with yourself, piece by piece. You show yourself to yourself, you congratulate yourself with where you're going and who you are, every milestone. And it's like with this, you start to be seen by yourself, you start to be seen by others as well. So it's actually a very beautiful card to land on. I know this is a Virgo energy card. Just felt I felt like mentioning that, especially because Virgo has a very like feminine, nurturing energy, which I feel like comes back to these wounds that came from a place of expecting to be supported and nurtured. It could be from feminine or male energies, but having that failure there, something very significant there. And then so when I noticed that this wasn't recorded, I was reaching for the Sacred Medicine Oracle deck. So let me finish out with that original plan, because it feels like something that needs medicine, and I feel like getting 3 cards for you. Okay, so you have Walk in a Good Way, Realign. Mosaic Pieces. And Spider-Woman Destiny. For this card, I felt that the idea of trust was coming through, and then also truth, and like following your true self, trusting yourself to follow that path. And surprisingly, the healing affirmation that I'm going to read for you could take with you is, I return to the truth that source flows through me. I am aligned. For Mosaic, this sounds very appropriate and important. I want to read the entire thing to you so that you can take that message with you as you're healing. It says, every experience, every sacred encounter, every word spoken from the past has contributed to who you are today. This card is asking you to zoom in and reflect on each of the tiny parts that make up the intricate mosaic of your journey. You will notice that even the pain and the heartbreak were necessary for your growth, adding texture and complexity to the whole. Are there parts that need forgiveness? Are there aspects of your past that need tending to? Sometimes we skip over trauma and pain as we don't have the capacity to fully process it at the moment. The medicine of this card asks you to see the lessons learned and the wisdom gleaned from all parts that seem hard. You are a mosaic of medicine comprised of your triumphs and your failures, your growth and your setbacks. It all matters. Right now, you are asked to gather each fragment and craft it into a new understanding. The diversity of your life experiences has created a beautiful pattern unlike any other human on this planet. Release any shame of what you deem as imperfect or incomplete, for nothing is ever lost and your mosaic will never be complete. And the healing affirmation is, I retrieve all the pieces of the past that are calling for acceptance and love. I return to me. I just felt like that was so on point for what we've been talking about. The pain from the past and you trying to identify yourself, to fill in that space of who you are and where you belong. And this is calling you, this card is calling you to start by bringing back all the pieces that have been scattered throughout your past, through pain, through trauma, through disappointments, hurt that you haven't processed yet. It's time now to build yourself back into the mosaic of all those pieces from the past, because this is who you are. And maybe you've been running from it and you're afraid that you won't love it. But look at this mosaic, everything comes together in the whole, and you don't really see the full picture till the end. And when you see it, when you put it together, you will love it. But it takes you putting those pieces together, back together, kind of like the Seven of Pentacles card, bit by bit, piece by piece. It's like she's building a mosaic here herself with the garden. Oh, this card is so nice. So yeah, this also really resonates with what we've been saying. I want to read some of these to you. So this is all about being called into your destiny and like being woven into being. And this card is reminding you of your mother's womb and beyond, reminding you of your existence before you manifested into form. A pure woven miracle you are, made of the stars, the earth, the wind, and the rain. And this card is telling you who you are. You are this being that pre-exists the social identity, the social labels that we hook into on earth. And so a bit of your way forward, your medicine, is to recall that essence and remember that that's there beyond any of the social kind of labels that you end up hooking into or feeling pressured to hook into along the way. There are a few potential destiny paths that are available to you now, and with intention, she helps you collapse those that are no longer for your highest good. Only you will know the next steps to take forward the timeline that is of the most aligned frequency. Activating your creative energy, she reminds you to follow your inspirations and retrieve the destiny that has been laid out for you. It's time to follow through on your heart's desire and the steps being revealed to you. This was like the Sun card, the message that I was conveying there about you following your bliss. You are choosing a path, and the way forward is to choose one in which you find joy, bliss. And this one says your heart's desire. Yeah. And really when you're doing that, you can be affirmed that you're stepping into your fate, your destiny. When you're following your bliss, you're aligning to the path that you're destined for. The healing affirmation here is, as I step into the timeline that is meant for me, my magnificent destiny awaits. Yeah, so I hope that that this gave you some sense of knowing of your shadow, shaking your shadow's hand, knowing what it looks like, knowing who you are in relation to the shadow, and the way forward into healing that shadow. The shadow is like always with you, but it doesn't have to be so dark, right? You can get to know it, get to know how it acts, and even make friends with it, who knows. But I see a beautiful path ahead for you. I really feel like you're a gentle, very gentle soul. As I kept being reminded of like some of my most shy and sweet students. They were kind of coming into mind as I was reading this spread for you. So treat yourself with great gentleness, and I can't wait for you to start seeing who you are and seeing how beautiful you are as you bring your pieces back together. And I'm wishing you so much love on that journey, hoping you continue to work with love as well as you walk and align your path. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, questions on the video. And if you're drawn to another card in the pick a card bit, I'll see you in that reading as well. And if not, I'll see you in the next. Hi Moon card. So you were drawn to this card, the Moon. A lot going on in this card, in this deck, and I think in most decks with the Moon. And so coincidentally or not, today is the day of the Scorpio full moon that I'm recording this. And it wasn't planned at all around this, but I think that is just a cool synchronicity and a meaningful one that I'm doing your reading specifically on the Scorpio full moon, and you have the moon card which depicts a full moon. And so we're talking about your studies and your shadow, right? And so I think that Scorpio is very kind of like good energy for diving into the shadow sides. Kind of gives you a little bit of direction, a little bit of energy to be able to do that kind of work. And also you might have Scorpio placements in your chart strongly, or you might have like strong relationships in your life with people that have Scorpio placements. So Scorpio might be totally relevant to your shadow and your studies. And also the full moon in Scorpio, meaning like closing out. Full moons are usually closing out a cycle which started with the new moon. So the previous Scorpio new moon until this Scorpio full moon might have been a pretty important period regarding your shadow and your studies. The other thing I wanted to mention is before I started your reading, like well before, when I was getting ready for work in the morning, I started to get like a channeled message about this. Besides it being the Scorpio full moon, that's what led me to realize that, was I was getting the phrase shadow of the moon. And I started playing around with the idea because I feel like I hear it. I've always heard it, but I never really understood what it meant. It was something about like the dark side of the moon feeling mysterious, right? Feeling like an open space, especially if we look at the moon phases and the way we depict them, right? Like the crescent moon, it looks like an empty space, but it's actually the shadow cast onto the round moon, the spherical moon. And so I think it's leading me to think about how we misunderstand shadows. And that's going to be a theme in your reading, misunderstanding a certain shadow in your studies. And realizing that it's actually not as void and unfamiliar as it seems. It's actually you casting your own shadow onto something else. You know, if you know what I mean, the shadow of the moon is actually coming from us on Earth. It makes it more familiar. So I think that is setting the theme of your studies and your shadow, and already getting to like what you can do, where you can go forward with that. So let's get some more information specifically on our group's shadow as it comes up in their studies. What it is specifically, like the contours of it, how it works, how it happens. And then if we want to get anything about how to go forward with it as well, but we can also wait for that. Okay, so you're getting the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. This shadow could very well be something to do with uncertainties around receiving assistance, financial, or like say through general services, through education. It doesn't have to be financial only. It could be like programs, like I feel like there's some shadow with not always having access to it, or having uncertain levels of access. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, and it makes your process really chaotic for you. Ace of Cups, the 10 of Wands, the Star in reverse, the 9 of Swords in reverse, and the 6 of Wands. There's a lot going on here. I feel like your experience in your studies has been a real mix of emotions, kind of like extremes, and a little bit of you like just trying to hold on through everything that's going on to get to the final outcome. So with the Moon and the Star reverse, there's definitely some shadow with your dreams, like your dreams being thwarted because of financial setbacks. Like maybe you didn't get the financial assistance that you needed to pursue it, and it's been causing a burden on you. You're just problem solving, the practicalities of getting through your studies, and you keep feeling like you get close to victory, like the light at the end of the tunnel, and then something else happens to kind of set you back, and you're just trying to keep the love alive for this whole process, but it's been hard. What's the shadow in this? What's the shadow coming through here? So your shadow here is that you're the one casting your own shadow on the Moon. You're the one creating the illusion. It's like you're the one, you're really afraid of something that you're creating yourself. You're the one creating kind of illusions and becoming afraid with them. And you're trapping yourself in a way with these thoughts. It's making you feel safe, but you're trapping yourself, and so it's like contradictory. You feel safe, but you're going nowhere with it, and that's kind of what's making it difficult in your studies to progress. There's a similarity with these two cards, the 9 of Swords reverse and the 6 of Wands, with the Wands trying to enter the figure's head, and the Swords trying to enter this figure's head. And it makes me think of like all the knowledge, all the great ideas trying to get through to you, but you're creating a block on it. See, there's like, I don't know, it looks like spaghetti and or worms and like little monster eyes here. They're preventing the new ideas from getting in to your head, and you're the one creating these little monsters, these little worms, to defend, to block the new ideas. It's almost like you're trying to like create a self-fulfilling prophecy that you don't see it, that you won't get it, and then it becomes true. but you do have every capability of seeing things, of getting things. So this comes from outside of you. This comes from somewhere else, like almost like a conditioning, like a program stuck in you, or like something you developed to protect yourself. But like I said here, it's protecting you, protecting your ego, but it's also trapping you in that limited reality. You're not able to realize your dream. You're not able to allow yourself to dream it. However, you keep pursuing it with a lot of dedication and passion. But then you keep getting thwarted by these illusions that you're casting yourself. I want to ask, is there a deeper soul meaning to what's going on here for this group? Double mission. Lightworker starseed. Serve the world by being you. I really want to get this one too. Messenger. Serious energy bringing harmony and balance. This is interesting. It says, it's common for lightworker starseeds to feel that they're different, and they may carry soul memories of being visible or sharing their voice. As such, they may protect themselves by dimming their light in order to fit in, or by spending time in some sort of closet, such as a spiritual closet. So that would make sense with you kind of trapping yourself and creating illusions. It could be that you have like some knowing, some knowledge coming into you, even from like spirit realm, and maybe it freaks you out, or maybe you've taught yourself not to believe it or to call it something else, and so it works. You don't receive those messages, or you don't code them as messages. There's a lot of confusion running with you for your shadow side, and it could be to do with receiving sensory information that doesn't fit the norm, and you don't really know what to do with it. You have the full moon kind of circle here again. You know, as I keep seeing the moon symbols coming up, it makes me also think that with there's like the confusion, but then there's also, especially with the full moon, the illumination. Like, you see things different in the light of the full moon, right? Certain things, you notice certain things in different ways. And I think that's happening, that's a big part of your message here, is that you notice things in different ways, but it's not always like intelligible or acknowledged by others, and so you don't really, you've learned to not do much with what you're receiving, or to dismiss it. Yeah, and possibly, especially because if you're going through formal studies, there isn't a lot of space made for knowledge that doesn't come from, like the traditional physical world means. If you're getting information like by more esoteric means, yeah, it would be hard to separate that out. And that's possibly what you're struggling with here. I'm gonna say, just because of numerically, there's more of the swords, that you rely a lot more on your mental, the mental space. You rely the least on your connection to like the divine and spiritual information. You don't receive those messages. And somewhere in between, you have the emotional and like the physical sensory. So I think you're unbalanced in like relying too heavily on your mental space to process the world around you, and you're being asked to engage the physical and the emotional, and most importantly the spiritual, which you've been blocking with the mental space. I do see that coming in here with these two cards. You cheating yourself out of a spiritual message by blocking it with your defense mechanisms that kind of you developed with society. So these two must come together. Regarding your shadow, that something didn't work out well with a mentor, a teacher, or some team that you are working in. And it has to do with this shadow. This may have been in the past where you kind of lost that faith in your communication abilities with spirit, because you were told, like say in school, that was wrong, and that's where you learned it. Yeah, this is all adding up to figure out what is that earth, that world that is casting the shadow on the moon for you. I hope that's making sense. It's a little bit of a complicated message, but I hope there's something in there for you to take away. Let me just get one more card. It's this one. Oh, you have another world here. Clan, animal totem, claiming. So this is making me think of you, again, emphasis on identifying what is that world thing. What is that thing that's casting the shadow? I can't even think of an example. Like, this is so bizarre to me. But once you figure that out, claim it. Meaning accept it as part of you. And it becomes less scary. Yeah, I'm going to say that is your message. And I would love to hear from you how you interpreted this, if you saw something different. But that's what I'm seeing for you. And I'm wishing you so much love on that, and hoping you continue to work with love for others and for yourself as you're healing your shadow, to shift the way your shadow works in your studies. To sum it up, honestly, I see that like there's a lot of hope for you in this circle again, changing this moon into the earth, seeing that the shadow is actually something very familiar to you, that you love, that is a part of you. And once you identify that, it's like you identify that you have a double mission, physical world and spirit world, and you have steady messengers bringing in messages to you all the time, and you will find a way to integrate that, accept that, and love that about yourself, and that will heal a lot of the shadows that is happening as you go through your studies. Yep, that was it in a nutshell. And just keep going with it with a lot of love for yourself, tenderness and care. And yeah, I'll leave you with that. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, and questions. And if you're drawn to another card in the pick a card part, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in the next video. Hi, reading 3. So you decided to go with the devil group. Brave of you. Or for whatever reason, this was really drawing you. And yeah, the devil card is nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't often mean the devil. But I have to say, I didn't anticipate starting this reading that I would be empathically tapping into your shadow. And that's what ended up happening in the previous 2 readings. And I really struggled in the moon group because the moon is all about confusion, illusion, and I felt like I kept not seeing the message in the cards, or like getting confused about what that message was. And it was a real struggle, but I got through it. I don't even know if like the message came through the way I hoped it would. But so after that, I realized, I'm always empathically tapping into the energy of the guides and you as viewers, the message that this is meant, the group of people the message is meant for. And I just totally didn't think that I would be tapping into your shadow as well if I'm doing a reading about your shadow. And so I have been a little bit hesitant with tapping into the devil energy, but I did get a channeled message before I started that this is not necessarily about the devil, the actual devil, but more about being tied down in some way, especially to addictions was the one big thing, and then kind of like limiting yourself, like some kind of narrative or social perception that you've bought into that is limiting yourself. So that made things easier to have courage to go into the reading, but also to right away identify what your shadow is. And now we can start to talk about what that means for your studies. So can we get information on the reading 3's shadow and their studies, how that is coming about together in this first group of cards? Okay. So you're getting the Princess of Cups, the Lovers. Interesting, because the Lovers is typically the same pair of humans that appear in the Devil card. And usually there's a couple angels here. Usually it's just one angel in place of where like the devil would be. So you could definitely be having that like angel on one shoulder, devil on the other shoulder experience with your shadow and your studies. Princess of Wands. These cards are coming out strong. Stronger than I expected. I feel like I want to get one more. Wow, 9 of Pentacles. Not what I expected from pulling the Devil card. Okay, I'm gonna talk myself through this. So there's a symmetry, of course, that we mentioned already with the Devil and the Lovers, and it's like there is a boundary that you're trying to cross, like from the Devil into the Lover's energy, but it's like how do I say this? It's kind of like the two sides of a coin, or it's almost like the barrier is so thin that they are each other, and so you're always like going back and forth between both. At the same time of that message, the Lover's card is generally thought of to be a choice card, so having to make a difficult choice. So I get the message that when you're having to make this decision, this particular decision, which is probably a pursuit of your success, there's a strong energy of the devil, which again is addictions or limiting beliefs of yourself, that can draw you away from your power. And the reason I see this as like an initiating energy is because you have two princess cards here, Princess of Cups and Princess of Wands. And it's kind of like these are the initiator, the exploring, the communicating energies. Very much student vibes with the Princess energy. So with the Cups, it's about connecting emotionally. With the Wands, it's about generating ideas, exploring ideas. And so there's something about your studies that helps to pull you away from the devil energy and toward the lover's energy. But there's something about making this choice that can likewise send you right back into the devil energy. Okay, so for the self-limiting beliefs, it could be that like when you're at the point where you are ready to apply to a program in higher education, like the Princess of Wands, Princess of Cups energy has gotten you to that point to follow your path to success, the path that you've already identified is right for you. You have this choice to apply or not, and something about facing that choice brings up the devil, and you start to face your self-limiting beliefs, or you start to fall into your addictions to cope, possibly both, to cope with the pressure of the self-limiting beliefs. So it could be like, people from my background don't go into this college, don't go into this program, or I'll never be able to fund this, I'll never be able to overcome the financial obstacles, or why disappoint myself? I'm not good enough, so why even try? It's not a practical route for me. Like, who am I to think I can do this anyways? That's the devil energy coming up to you when you're faced with this life choice in your studies, particularly leveling up, so pursuing a program. That's why I brought in that example. And then so that energy overwhelms you, and if you identify with the addictions part, you could go into stress eating or whatever, like alcohol addictions you might have, or social media addictions even, to cope. And so there's this fine relationship between the devil and the lover's energy that's anchoring the root of how your shadow comes up in your studies. So, okay, what's the advice for our group on how to support themselves, knowing what their shadow is and how it shows up in their studies? Particularly around making important choices. Wow, Queen of Cups lining up with the Princess of Cups. Do you see how this is like a growing up of the Princess of Cups into the Queen of Cups? Some kind of like development emotionally being advised to. The Hierophant in reverse. Interesting that it's also two figures kind of being looked over by a person of high status, where typically in the Lover's cards, two figures being looked over by an angel. Wow. The Prince of Wands with the Princess of Wands. And the Eight of Discs. The Nine of Discs. Okay, let me start with the Prince of Wands. You might have some impulse to you might just have impulsive energy, reactionary energy when you're uncomfortable or you feel threatened, or threatened also being like when you feel not enough. And so you're being advised to be cautious of that and to attend to that, because that you can identify that now having a root in your shadow, in this thing you're struggling with doubting yourself. And we already touched upon this here with the Princess of Cups moving into the Queen of Cups. This is very much linked with that message. Becoming more like self-aware of your emotions, how they turn up and how they function in your life, is going to help you kind of gain control over the chaos, so to speak, of that you're feeling in these moments. When you have to kind of stand up for yourself, to the negative self-talk that you've kind of inherited, I want to say. Yeah, it's like you always have to keep standing up for yourself, to your own self, and the perception that you've inherited of the world and how you belong into it. That's very tiring. With the Hierophant in reverse, it's encouraging you to not put so much stock in what other people say. It's like first you need to accept yourself, believe in yourself, see yourself for your talents. It could be an energy of like that you are waiting for others' approval. This card is telling you to like give yourself your own approval. And then last, with the 8 of Discs lining up with the 9 of Discs, if you I think this goes along with that approval message. If you stop waiting for someone's approval and you just start working towards what you want, you will ultimately get there. You will get there no matter what, by your own blood, sweat, and tears, like by your own hand. You have a clear path by taking the 8 of Discs, which is mastering your craft, to arrive at the 9 of Discs, which is enjoying the fruits of your labor, basically. Yeah, you have a clear path in between these two. Let me see if we can I want to get more information that's needed about your shadow and how it shows up in your study. And then we'll get the medicine for that next. Stagnation. I think this has a lot to do with that choice making, that it keeps you stuck. Like I said, yeah, you're stuck in that cycle between the lovers and the devil, trying to make the choice, but being overwhelmed by the decision making process. And then just kind of, that's what stagnates you. There's some way that you can break out of this to get on your way into your work path to your success. And I'm going to bring up the Sacred Medicine Oracle for the advice on how you can break out of that. Oh, New Spirit Moon, Hope. That's so beautiful. Hope is going to help you break out of it. Hope and faith, I feel like. Hope in yourself, mostly, and faith in yourself. Yeah, it's going to be kind of like a blind leap of faith that you need, because you've been operating on proof and approval. You've been trying to prove to yourself and to others that you're worthy. You've been waiting for approval from yourself and others that you can move ahead. Your cards are saying, no, you're going to just have to take a leap of faith and hope that you're right, that you will land into the 9 of Pentacles in the end. And you will, but it really is about you cultivating that trust in yourself to take the leap. Okay, number 3, New Moon Spirit Hope. A sliver of hope and magic. The new moon is a clean slate for you to create. Call up your intentions during this time. Listen to the rumbles of creation that exists in the core of your soul. What lights you up? What feels like fuel for your sacred fire? This is the Princess of Wands and Cups energy, again, coming through. What is calling you from the invisible realm of possibility, and how will you feel when your dreams become reality? That's the Nine of Discs, when your dreams become reality. Your specific intentions at this time are sacred dreams waiting to be birthed. This card comes your way to remind you that no dream is too big. The stars are waiting for your instructions, and Grandmother Moon is waiting to reflect your inner light and shine brightly over the world with its radiance. New moons are a time of possibility and alignment. Stay focused on your thoughts and align them with your greatest visions. Center your mind with the most healed outcomes you can imagine. At this moment, miracles are possible. Use this time to plant the seeds of inspiration and tend to them, weeding out that which no longer interests or serves you. I'm going to read you the sacred ceremony because I think it's important for you with this card to create a ritual in the next new moon that you encounter. And so this could be that ritual that you do to get focused and grounded on your vision. So, sacred ceremony, look up to the dark sky and see the magic of the bright white sliver of light. This is a beginning, and there is so much that is unknown. You are handed a seed to offer into the soil of the earth, the womb of the Earth Mother. Take a moment to infuse it with a wish, a dream, a prayer. As Mother Earth gathers it, she transmutes it with her hands into a shooting star and throws it up into the cosmos. There it is gathered, validated, and amplified. You can now surrender and trust. I'm glad I read that. Yeah, that is how you can get your validation that you're seeking from the universe, from your spirit guides, from yourself. And that is how you can develop trust. And I like how they say surrender here, along with your hope and faith. Think of it as surrender and trust in the universe as well. And your healing affirmation says, I am ready to plant the seeds of my future. I stay aligned in my thoughts and focus on what is possible. That's so nice. Yeah, so this is your message. I feel like that was fast. I just want to pull one more card for you. I mean, I feel like your message is pretty complete. So if you're in a rush, I think that's that. But if you want to stay on, you feel like there's something more for you to hear, I'm going to pull a Starseed Oracle card and see how that lines up for you here. Okay, so you're getting lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before. So much water energy, and it's landing on the Princess of Cups, Queen of Cups pairing. I'm just going to go ahead and read this because I feel like there's going to be a certain word that's going to be important to you. Okay, lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before. The world is far more ancient than our documented history suggests. As souls, many of us have experienced ancient eras on this planet that were much more advanced than ours today. As we begin to remember these times, the rememberings and gifts can come flooding back. At this stage in Earth's timeline, we need the wisdom of the ancients to survive as a species. You're being called to connect with the lost wisdom of your own soul. If you feel guided to make a change in your life, to step into a new career path, birth a creation, or bring an idea to life, but feel unprepared, this card is calling you to consider that you've done this before. Perhaps your soul has wisdom beyond what your lifespan can imagine. Perhaps the intuitive hits and ideas you're receiving are divinely guided. Perhaps you've been preparing for this time. Some think that lost lands exist in the past. Others believe they exist today in a different dimension. I believe these ancient lands also exist in the souls of those who experience them. If this card comes to you, perhaps the wisdom of lost lands, such as Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon, exist within you. And through surrendering to the intelligence of your soul, you can unlock the seeds of these ancient lands so we can all learn from our mistakes and usher in a new age. Didn't the word seeds come up here? I need to look that up again. Yeah, it says, at this moment, miracles are possible in the new spirit moon. Use this time to plant the seeds of inspiration and tend to them, weeding out that which no longer interests or serves you. Yeah, this is your medicine. This is your way forward. And like, I have to say, with the word seed coming through as important, you probably will identify with this star seed, being a star seed, feeling kind of like uncomfortable on earth, out of place. So you might want to, if you're not familiar, you might want to look up what star seed means, how people are using that. Because in a sense, you are the star seed. You are the star seed that's being planted here on earth as well. And I think this is coming up not only to give you direction, but to give you purpose, a sense of purpose, and that especially if you're deciding to take a leap of faith into the unknown. And your advice here is consider that you've done this before and you can do it again. If it feels scary, you've already proved to yourself. If you're looking for proof, you've proved to yourself in another soul lifetime that you've done this before. Yeah. Okay, starseed activation. It says this is like a affirmation you can say to yourself. It says, I unlock any forgotten wisdom and soul gifts from lifetimes past. And that made me think, unlocking any forgotten wisdom and soul gifts made me think of unlocking yourself also from the devil, the grips of the devil energy. And again, the devil here, not being literal devil, but addictions that hold you back, and kind of like the devil of society holding you down, keeping you like in your place, quote unquote. So yeah, that was intense, but really positive outcomes and cards in the end. And I'm wishing you so much love as you, I would say, step into your journey, take that leap of faith, and yeah, hoping that you continue to work with love on your journey as well, because that will just keep manifesting, attracting this bubble of love, protective bubble of love around you as you go along. I think the number 3 is important. It keeps coming through. So if you see a 3 or multiples of 3s, that will be a good sign for you, an encouragement, a gentle encouragement for you to take this leap of faith, to remember that there's success at the end of this. And I also see like 12-3, so like you might want to look out for December, whenever that's coming up for you, 3rd of December, but also 3 months from now, as like key moments, I think, where you can either take the leap or also have guidance, feel that you're safely like protected as you're taking this leap. Yeah, so at the time of this recording, it's the end of April, May, June, July, end of July. If there's something happening then, that's a confirmation for you to take the leap. Same with December. Yeah, okay, and so I'm going to end it there. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, and questions. I always enjoy the energy exchange with that. And if you were drawn to another card in the pick a card section, I'll see you in that reading. And if not, hope to see you again in the next.